Hi, it's John here from GPS Training. A slightly different video this week. I was actually going to do a walk and talk on the Spot Gen4, which people don't know is a one-way satellite communicator and satellite tracker. So on Saturday, I was going to do a 52-mile walk with a great friend of mine, one of my own training walks, and I was a little bit greedy. I thought I'll incorporate my walk with a walk and talk for you guys. So as you see now, I actually even did an introduction for the walk and talk at the start of the walk. Hi, Sean here from GPS Training. Welcome to the latest walk and talk. In this walk and talk, I'm going to be tracking myself with the Spot Gen4, which is one of the best budget trackers currently on the market. What am I going to be doing? I'm actually going to do a 52-mile walk in the Cheviot Hills. I'm going to do what's called a Cheviot Round. If you didn't see where the route goes, I'll leave a link in the comment box below. You see exactly where it is. What I'm going to do is set this away tracking. You're going to see my walking. I'm also going to show you a little bit of how this looks on the computer when you're out and somebody else is tracking your walk. So I'll never learn, will I? I've learned over the years, trying not to film when I'm doing my own training walks, but this time I was convinced I was going to do it. So what walk was I doing? I was doing the Cheviot Round. This is a 52-mile round, so it's a self-guided walk where you download the GPX file and navigates you around the Cheviot Hills. If you don't know more about the Cheviot Round, I'll leave a link here below. Very good website, and there's actually some good videos on there from my colleague Andy showing how you download the GPX files and how you can navigate around walks such as this. But I thought it's a great opportunity to really test the Spot Gen4. I was going off grid for a long period and I wanted a way I could publicly share my location, both on the Cheviot Round page, the Facebook page, and also on my own social media, and also so friends and family could see exactly where it is. And that's where I think the Spot Gen4 really comes into its own. So what is it? As you must probably know, it is 160 grams in weight. It's a small satellite tracker. Now you just see I put this in the top of my rucksack. I just slipped it in the top of my rucksack, zipped it in there, switched it on at the start, and you've got a number of buttons on the unit. I just used the tracking button. So the middle button, I just held it down for a couple of seconds and I went into tracking mode. So what I thought I'm going to do this video is I'm going to show you the tracking results that came from this device. There's also some other things we get on the Spot Gen4. Is we get a check-in message, which can go to both text numbers and mobile numbers. You get a custom message as well, which again can go to text message and custom message, text and email address. You have like an internal SOS. So again, if you want an internal SOS, or you want friends and family to know if you'll potentially get into problems, there's a button there, and then there is a proper SOS button. So if it's a real emergency, that will get the emergency services up and running, and they would hopefully come and rescue you. So those are the basic functionality of it. Now, a couple of things just to think about the Spot Gen4 is with a text message on the basic contract, on the contract, you're limited 200 text messages per year when you're sending messages. You can do that from any of those buttons. So the way I got it set up was on my check-in message and my custom message, my check-in message saying everything's okay, this is who I am, my custom message saying I'm all finished, etc. I've just sent to email addresses, just keeping people in touch. But then the internal emergency, which is the one under this flap on this side, which is I've got problems, I've sent to multiple text messages and email addresses because that's the one I really want to go through. So ones that I can just keep people updated with where I am and what I'm doing if they're not following my live tracking, I just set to email addresses, and then the ones in that internal emergency I've set up to text messages, and then I can utilize that 200 text messages I get for a year. Just a quick say about contracts. Again, $149.99 to buy this product. We sell a little bit cheaper on Outdoor GPS Shop, and then contract like a mobile phone contract that runs alongside it. Year one, about £215. I say about because we're buying it in euros. We've got a VAT to add on to it, exchange rates, etc. But about £215 British pounds for the first year because we have to put a fee on to register onto the network, and then it's about £185 going forward. So it's not cheap, but I think it's a really nice, easy to use satellite communicator. said, it's really easy to use. What you do is you just create a page within the software, and you can share this page publicly. And here is the result of our tracking. Now, the nice thing with the Spot software is you can actually choose when you want to. So you can say the last hour of tracking, 24 hours tracking, 7 days of tracking. But what I've actually done is I've selected the history. So I've said, right, I want to select from the 4th of May 2024 from 7:30 in the morning when I started to midnight on the following night, and you just click there and you can bring it in. So the nice thing is you can go back over your history of what you've done in the past and view the tracks of that you've created. So straight away you can see there's a few little gaps there before we go, and then what we've got here, we can just zoom in and zoom out of the now it's show, and then that will load it up there. Okay, then we can zoom in and zoom out. So we actually started Alwynton, which is down here, and then we can zoom in there. And you can see all the little track points that we did. So you can see, hover over them, that was at 8 o'clock in the morning, 8:01, 47, 8:04, 17, 8:06. So you can see the track points. So we started here at the car park, went along the road, and you can see it's drawing a straight line from track point to track point. Went up here, you can see we must have had a little bit of a stop here, because you can see there's 2 track points together. Drop down over past Peth, and you can see exactly where we went up here. So we followed up all the way up to Shillop Law. And you'll see here, hopefully, the shot of our first summit shot. As you can see, the weather wasn't great, but we still had smiles on our face there. So again, it was really tracking quite well. And then we dropped down from Shillop Law. You can see this map I was saying is showing the path really very detailed. Okay, compared to an Ordnance Survey map, we'll have a look at that a little bit later compared to Ordnance Survey map, but it's actually very good quality of map. And the nice thing is, because it's a proper digital map, as you zoom in, it doesn't go pixelated, it actually keeps that resolution. So we kind of followed the River Coquet, then we went to what's called the street, and we climbed up, and you can see the tracking here is impeccable. And it's one of the best tracking devices that we can see. And we climbed up to Windigale. So Windigale is actually, this is the Scotland-English border. As you can see, England on this side, Scottish on this side, and Windigale's a little bit in Scotland. So we went over to the summit of Windigale, and this is the summit of Windigale. And then we continued on the Pennine Way, along the Pennine Way, which is now on the Northumbrian side. And we continued on up to the highest point in Northumberland, which is the Cheviot. So it's a bit of a long haul up there. We don't get contours or anything on this map, so we get past Cairn Hill, and we carry on up to the Cheviot, which is the highest point in Northumberland. Now again, you can see the 2 track points there on the Cheviot, where we stopped. So it's 1:27, and 1:29. So you can see we stopped a couple of minutes there as it dropped to checkpoints. So we started just after 8, and we hit there at 1:30 we did then. And let's just zoom out, and then we can see exactly what we do. So you can see we must have got a bit of a pace on here, and then we dropped that back down to the valley. It was very wet around here, Scald Hill, Broadhope Hill. It was horrendously wet. Coal Law. Again, we've got to go to the summit to get our summit shot. We could have just stood that side, but we've got to go to the summit of Coal Law, one of my favourite viewpoints in Northumberland. Really, it's not massively high because it's on the edge of the Cheviot. You get a cracking viewpoint overlooking the lower ground, which is now to the east as we look towards the coast. And then we drop down to the Harthorpe Burn. And then we climbed up the second highest point in Northumberland, which is Headshope. So we climbed up Headshope. It's quite a steep climb up here. And again, here's our summit shot of Headshope there. Again, I'm interested because we did stop there a little while. I thought it might have dropped another track point in, but it didn't. And then it was a wet old haul as we made our way to Ingram. So skirt around there. We made our way to Ingram. Now at Ingram, Let's see what time it was. So it was 9 o'clock at night. So we actually came down and we went to, there's a tea room here, which actually has toilets that are open 24 hours a day, and there's water outside, so we fill our water bottles. And we stopped there for a little while. Quite an interesting fact there, if you're interested, I've got an iPhone 14. I wasn't using it for anything except for like text messages, etc., etc. And my iPhone 14 had 24% battery life at this point. So I made the decision. I actually texted my wife at that point and said, I'm switching my mobile phone off. Don't worry about me, because I need to, if we need to communicate, I'll switch it back on. So I didn't have a battery pack with me. My colleague Paul had a battery pack to keep his going, but I didn't have one for mine. But mine started off with 100% and it was down 24% there. It was going into 9 o'clock. She could see where I was with the live tracking, but I decided to switch off my mobile phone there, and she could just see exactly where I was for the tracking. So we marched off again. You know, we're now 9:30 at night, and we can head over toward Prendrick, which is just a very small farm, really, hitting at 10:10 at night. Skirt around here, really good pace on here. You can see how far these track points are far. No, 10:20, 10:13, 7 minutes apart. 10:30. We got a good pace on until we hit Salters Road. Slow down. It's quite wet around Salters Road. Quite hard to navigate. Now it's like 11:07 at night. It's fairly dark. It's quite interesting going into here. I maybe shouldn't say, but we saw a vehicle going in to the farm here at 11 o'clock at night, at 11:30. So this was the farmer on his way home. We wandered through the farmyard at 11:30 at night. He had his lights on, so we kind of joked whether he'd just come back from the pub or not at that point. So up Salters Road again. Potentially a track point has been missed there, because actually this is a fair old climb. So I wonder if there was a track point mixed. And you'll see this is a reoccurring theme that is just going to come up a little bit here. Interesting fact here, this is the way we had planned it going here, but actually when you look at this map, you can see the track was actually here. We actually missed that track. I actually did this from the Ordnance Survey map, and I'll bring up the Ordnance Survey map in a minute. It's actually interesting to see that the Ordnance Survey map had the track going up here, but actually on this different map come from open source data, had the track here, and it was a bit of a, we would call it Clarton in the northeast of England. It was hard going here. No, it's now 12, it's gone past midnight, it's hard underfoot, and we really struggled to find this track. We're on the track, off the track, you can see here, couldn't have been, so totally navigating on our GPS unit here, so complete visibility down to 0. 1 o'clock in the morning, it's rough underfoot. This is not a right of way. It's not a footpath right away. We're utilising open access in this farmer's track. You can see we kind of struggled, and we actually end up Cusher Law. But then this is quite interesting here, as we came along here really, really wet as we follow this fence line. But for whatever reason, the Spot lost tracking. Now, I did take my bag off at that point. I don't know if the tracker fell forward within that bag. I don't know what happened. We took our bags off, put coats on, waterproofs on, because it was turning into quite a cold night. 1:20 in the morning. See 1:22 there and 2:06 there. So we've lost, what, 40 minutes, 45 minutes of tracking. I say the only thing I can think of is the tracker fell forward in the top of my rucksack and we lost it. It's not life-changing, but that was the only place where it's faulted. Again, it might be down to my user error. As we went, again, really wet as we went up to Bloody Bush Edge, which is here. Now, Bloody Bush Edge, you see there's quite a few track points here. It was now 2:34 in the morning and we decided to have a bit of a sleep. Here's a picture of us before the sleep, which is smiling at the track point. We were maybe looking a bit tired, but we were quite lucky. There was a couple of sleepers there or strainer posts next to the trig point. So we actually set my alarm for 3 o'clock in the morning and we had a 26-minute power nap there. So you can see the spot. I've just put my rucksack at the bottom of the, it's like a sleeper or a straining post. And we slept till 3 o'clock, so we had 25 minutes sleep at that point. 2,000 feet above sea level, 610 meters, and yeah, it was 2:34 till 3 o'clock. We were very tired. It had been a very wet section here, so we decided to have a bit of a catch up, and we felt a lot better after that. Then descended. You can see we descended relatively quickly back here. Again, quite rough here. Very poor path underfoot, so you can see we end up hogging this fence line as we drop back down here, back down to Ouseway Forward. Quite interesting actually, as we were dropping down here, which is now at 3:40 in the morning, we saw a vehicle coming up here, which I was quite amazed at really, and he pulled off somewhere. It looked like a camper van or something at 3:40 in the morning, which I thought was quite interesting. And then we dropped back down to Ouseway Ford, and then dropped down on Clennell Street, and then we strided back down Clennell Street, back to Alwynton. This is really nice downhill section. Know this area very, very well. Back to past Clennell Street, all the way back to Alwynton there, and then we came back around here, and that was our final track point at 8 o'clock. So that was a starting point. What time was that one? So yeah, it's 6:19 that we finished. So I'll give you the final stats from the GPS unit, but you can see overall there, massively impressed. Now again, my wife was tracking us. I put it on the Facebook page for the Cheviot Round. I also put it on my own personal Facebook page so people can see exactly where we are. And the only couple of places we lost tracking was that section there, and then this section up around Cushat Law and Bloody Bush Edge. Again, I don't know why 30-40 minutes, but the rest of it you can't follow. Actually, there's a little bit there, wasn't there, that we lost there coming up to Hedgehope as we climbed up there. So again, that's a very steep climb. I don't know, again, if I remember rightly, I don't know, maybe fell on the back of my rucksack as I was going uphill. Very steep climb there. Lost a little bit of the tracking there, but overall, I think we've got to be quite impressed by it, and I know it's dead easy to use. Again, when you share this page, it's very easy for people to navigate around it, and that was my experience from the walk. So again, it's quite interesting to see the tracking, what other people have looked at during it, and I hope that gives you a better overview of the Spot Gen 4. I very much hope you found that useful. It was interesting to see the results of that. So what are my conclusions after walking with the Spot Gen 4? If people don't know, I've done a number of these events over the years, and I've always used a Spot for these for live tracking. I think the public page is really easy to use. You just create a public page within the software, you generate a URL, and then you can just share that wherever you want. You can share it with friends, family, you can share it on social media. It's so easy to use. And I really like that public page. The background map is one of the best that we've seen. So you saw in one of the examples there where there was actually not a footpath on the Ordnance Survey map, but it showed the footpath on the mapping that was behind the track that we created with the Spot Gen 4. So really nice, easy to use public sharing page. The device itself is really easy to use and is actually bulletproof. We have a walking holiday business, I don't know if people know, from Shepherd's Walks Holidays, and we use these Spot Gen 4s to track our solo walkers. Before we had these products, we used to not let solo walkers come on our walking holidays just because of the, I hate the word health and safety, but if anything happened to them, we would be responsible for that person. When these came out, an affordable tracker, we could give these to our clients. They put them in the rucksacks or hang them on their rucksacks, and we can see exactly where they are all the time. They can also check in at the start of the day, check out and check in at the end of the day, and we know they're safe and sound. I always smile because the instruction we give them of how to use this is literally one sheet of A4, and actually a third of it is actually a picture of the product. Really easy to use. Switch on the product by holding down the button for a couple of seconds, and then hold down the middle button, which starts the tracking. And believe me, we loan these to all sorts of people, and today everybody gets it right. It's really easy to use and very simple to use. So really great if you're wanting people to track exactly where you are, but it also gives you the functionality. If something goes wrong, a little bit more serious, you do have that capability of pressing either an internal SOS button or the main SOS button, which would then scramble the emergency services to come to rescue you. So I very much hope you found this useful. It's just interesting to look at the tracking that we did when we were out on the Cheviot Round. If you want to find out any more about the Cheviot Round, I've left a link below. And actually, if you want to go out and try it, take a tracker with you. It's really nice to share that with friends and family when you're out actually doing it. And again, from myself here, John from GPS Training, and all the rest of the team, many thanks for your continued support. It's very much appreciated, and many thanks for watching.